Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. So the May patch notes just dropped today, and there's one particular line that caught my eye down here in the bug fixes and improvements section, and that's this line here that says Havok in the Abyss, fixed issue where plasma detonations did not deal damage. Now if you weren't aware of what this bug is, Havok in the Abyss has basically been broken since the Abyss came out, and it was broken in a big way that favored the player. So you could basically go into this fight with any champion. It did not require a champion with an armor up buff. And then when the plasma debuffs would build up on you, they would just disappear instead of detonating and probably killing you. And what this kind of enabled people to do was to save a spot on their team who would normally be reserved for like Warlock or Guillotine or anybody with an armor up buff. You could bring in another primary attacker. You could bring in another champion for a specific fight on the path. But now you won't be able to do that going forward. So this caught my eye specifically because Path 3, which is where both of the Havocs are in the Abyss, is my next path, and I was planning on doing it in the next week or two, depending on when I can find the time. So I'm currently kind of facing a decision on how to approach this path from the get-go. So my original team, let me hide browser here. So my original team here was going to be Aegon, Doom, Torch, Professor X, and then Ronan. And I was specifically bringing Ronan for the Red Skull fight. I know it's like a long and kind of arduous fight, kind of boring, but it gets the job done in 0 revives. So if I wait until after the patch drops to do this path, I don't think that I can bring in Ronan anymore. I would have to swap out Ronan for Warlock. I could also probably swap out Professor X, but I really do want to bring him in specifically for the Luke Cage fight, and maybe, he's pretty good in general, so I think he'd be useful in other fights. So what I would have to do is probably just abandon the Ronin cheese and bring in Warlock for both the Havocs. Now, if you run Suicides, if you fully boost, Warlock can solo both of those fights. So in terms of revive item usage, it's probably tomato. The other option that I've been kind of throwing around is just turning off automatic updates for my apps on my phone, which would enable me to play on the current patch, so the broken Havok, as it were, for as long as I need to, until I can find the time to do my Abyss path. And as long as next month's events don't have things that are required to be done daily, like solo objectives or a side quest that needs to be done every day, I think I could stretch that out for another week and just worry about the new EQ later on in the month. I'm not complaining at all that they're fixing this Havok bug. It's a pretty huge bug, and it absolutely should be fixed. It does annoy me a little bit that they fix this, but they leave bugs in Labyrinth, sit for 5 years unfixed. Labyrinth Ultron has been broken since Labyrinth came out, and they haven't fixed him yet. But I guess that's another topic entirely. So guys, let me know what you think I should do. Should I go in with, should I wait and just use Warlock on the path? I'm probably making more out of the Red Skull fight than it is. Ronan certainly makes that fight easier, but I'm not sure. I'm sure I could get through it, with a few revives and other champs on my team. Or should I, delay my phone updating and just go in with Ronan, do the cheese, take out Abyss Havok, both of them with Aegon, and kind of go from there. So, still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm not really leaning one way or the other at this point. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Who would you use, or what would you do in this situation? And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.